You never know what's going on in someone else's mind. Well, welcome on in to the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. I am the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. I bring you this title, You Never Know What's Going On in Someone Else's Mind, because it's a constant. What I mean by it's a constant is you can't read other people's minds. You might think you can read their behavior, but you really can't know exactly what they're thinking. And oftentimes, probably most of the time, they are not going to share what their thoughts are with other people, unless they are good and close friends. But as far as the average person that you see, who you may or may not know very well, you have no idea what they're thinking, and they're not going to tell you what they're thinking. Why do I bring this up? Very simply, everybody has, or most people have, some doubts about themselves, some issues that they are facing, some worries perhaps about their family. And the list goes on and on and on. You don't know what's in their mind. They don't know what's in your mind. You're not going to share everything that you're thinking with them, sometimes even with your best friends. In fact, I have, over a period of time, realized that perhaps I was sharing too much with people, because without sounding paranoid, you never know how something you say can later be used against you. Therefore, it's important to think about what you are saying and not to overshare with other people what you are thinking. It's been said that this age that we're living in now is an age of oversharing. If you look at some of the videos online, you will see that term. And I agree with that. It's as if before it was as if people were almost too into themselves and too unwilling to tell other people their concerns. Now the pendulum has swung in the opposite direction, and people share intimate things with strangers, which again, to me, is inappropriate. But even with the person that you kind of know, or even if you know them well, it's still best to keep some things to yourself. If you know a person, and let's say you like them, but you notice that they have a tendency to use things against you when they're either upset with you or just for whatever reason, then it's best not to overshare with that person. I have a few friends that are just that way. And so I've learned, and I think I have put together a video about situations where a person will trigger you. They know what triggers you, and they know where your weak spots are. And this could even be a friend. Being triggered is not a very pleasant situation, no matter who is doing the triggering. But this is another reason why you should not overshare situations. Sometimes you do it if you're lonely. That's another thing to be careful of. People will share things that maybe they ordinarily would not share when they are feeling lonely. They want to share their concerns with other people. Well, then it becomes a matter of how much to share. That takes the experience of having many interactions with that person with whom you're sharing to know how they might take what you're sharing and use it in a way that may not be in your best interest. So it's very, very subjective. Don't overshare. I cannot emphasize that enough. If there's no reason to share a lot of things, then you may be best off not sharing it, or just perhaps touching on the surface, but that's it. Because people will say to you, oh, Blue Collar, how you been doing today? Or how you been doing last week? I haven't talked to you. And you might be tempted to give them a whole rundown of what you've been doing or different difficulties you've had. But in my experience, many of them are so wrapped up in their own lives that they really can't give you any kind of solace, and they really are not that concerned about what you have to say. They're all wrapped up in themselves. Remember, for them, you are number two, but we know who the number one is for these people. It's themselves. And that is something that you must always remember. They are the most important person on the planet for themselves. And the more you realize that, the better you're going to be. So be careful what you share, how much you share, and how often you share with other people. But the best thing I can say to you is, before you say something, think about what you're saying. And please do not overshare things and feelings with other people. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time.